mix inspired Michael by. It's the first time he's ever raised his hands on a yes. So that's pretty impressive.
Scare that referee. Let's talk a little football.
Hello, welcome everybody to the Press Box. I'm so glad you're here after giving a whole bunch of thanks for Thanksgiving. It's now Christmas season. I'm here with Randy Young, Michael Best, Jim Rayburn. I'm Austin Reams. And the gift that keeps on giving, that's high school and college football. How about that?
There's a lot of things
Keeps
that
on
can
giving.
fall into that, but we just won't go there.
Yeah.
Well, ho, ho, ho.
A lot of bad news this week so far as local football. One of those is Thomas County Central loses to Langston Hughes 28-12. And, Randy, we'll talk about the season, but let's talk about the game first. Langston had some fantastic players. And when you're making Central players look slow, you've got some speed.
They've got speed all over the place. I mean, that's how they built that team up. I mean, they've got track guys everywhere. I don't know that I've ever seen a collection of speed on a high school football team quite like that, and a big line of scrimmage as well. I mean, they've got 3 guys on their offensive line that are committed to SEC schools. Quarterback now that is in his 3rd school in 4 years, who was at Buford. He was a starter there before the Rayola kid came in, and he moved to Hughes. But they're just a very, very athletic team, very, very strong as far as their on-the-field performance. And we were worried going in that winging it stuff, that, how do you coach against that? I mean, how do you coach it? I mean, you just got athletes making plays, and their quarterback had 2 long runs, one of them an 87-yarder that was a backbreaker after we had cut the lead to 14-12 there in the 3rd quarter. And he had like a 40-yard run in the 4th quarter, and then hit a slant for about 60 yards with one of their speed guys who got behind the secondary. 3 big plays, really. Now, they did earn one of those touchdowns on a long drive, which is what we wanted to do. We wanted to set them into a position where they had to get the 7 and 8 play drives, singles and doubles instead of home runs. But you just can't contain that. I mean, they're going to get their points. And offensively, we struggle. They were sending people left and right, and our offensive line had a hard time picking it up. Jalen was never really comfortable, and you could kind of feel that. Now, Deuce Lawrence had another big night. We ran the ball effectively. He had over 100 yards. But the difference was all these teams that we've seen up to this point, if he got a crease, he could outrun everybody and make a home run out of it. The other night, that just wasn't the case. Yeah. We were having to single it, double it, single it,
10
double
yards,
it.
15 yards, 20 yards.
Just could not break that big play because they had so much speed to contain it. And, tip your cap to them, though. A fantastic program. It's unusual, though. We were talking about this before we started taping, and I don't know what you do about this. Last year, they had 58 players on their team, 31 seniors, so you got 27 freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Well, this year, 63 players on the roster and 37 seniors. So it's almost like a revolving door. I mean, we were told that within 5 miles of the Langston Hughes campus, there are 4 other high schools. And you're talking Creekside. I mean, all of them, 1,500 students per school. And it's a revolving door. I don't know how you police that. They're all in Fulton County. But it is what it is. And they took care of their business. Our guys did not. And you congratulate them and hope that they're able to keep moving on.
Yeah, so now we get to thoughts on the season and then talking about the 2025 season, but a lot of confidence gained this year. It's
we
kind
got
of
some
the word of
confidence.
the
We
year.
got some confidence.
Yeah.
Got some confidence. No, this senior bunch, I mean, they've won 2 region championships, a state championship, made the quarterfinals for the 3rd straight year. Only the 2nd time in our program history that's happened. 92, 93, 94 was the only time that's happened. But the good news is there's 18 seniors total. And we're only losing 5 starters. So 17 of 22 will be coming back. And we lose D. Reddick, who's a Super 11 guy. You don't replace a guy like that. Jaden Rubo, who's an all-state linebacker for us, who's been Mr. Everything on that defense. Okoye Rawls in the secondary. And then 2 offensive linemen. That's it. Everybody else will be back. So the table has been set now for some really good things. I mean, we're in a really good stretch as far as the Yellow Jacket program is concerned. And the good news is it runs from about the current junior class all the way down to the freshman class. Looking forward to it, and I know the guys are excited whenever they get to start it back up. But disappointing to know that you've got it right there in the horizon to be able to possibly repeat as state champions. But again, congratulations to Langston Hughes, and congratulations to the team. I mean, 11-2, nothing to sneeze at. 38-3 over the last 3 years. I'll put that up against pretty much anybody.
Played at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing
whole
up two
game,
classes from where we should be. So congratulations to the team, to the coaches, and to the fan base, man. I mean,
They want it.
Well, it's quite a story whenever the fans are as much of a story, if not more than a story, than the actual team itself. And I congratulate and tip my cap to the Jacket Nation for kind of resetting the standard. I mean, it's just amazing. The other night, Central probably 4 or 5 to 1 as far as the crowd was concerned. But good season, solid season, and the future is very bright.
Yep, good to see that.
Yep.
Another bright future we're talking about is Thomasville, as they lost to Dublin 35-13. Dublin running the wing tees, pretty lethal. They had it down. And kind of thoughts on the game, and then we'll do the same thing of thoughts on the future. But hats off to Dublin on this one.
Dublin was a better football team. It was kind of a worry that I had. We'd not played anybody since Fitzgerald that could challenge us. And so then you meet up with one of the top 2 teams in the state. And either Dublin or Toombs will probably win the state championship. They play this week in the semifinals. But we took the opening kick, drove down the field, came up short, kicked a field goal, stopped them, got another field goal. Then boom, they get a touchdown. Then boom, they get another touchdown, long run, 68-yard run. I mean, the quarterback's probably one of the better. Seen a lot of wing tees being with Fitzgerald, and then in our classification, and their quarterback's probably the slickest I've ever seen. He never missed a beat, never missed a handoff, and they do a lot of inside-outside stuff, turning and reversing out, and he was dead on all night long. So hats off to them. Our defense was there to make plays, but they were so quick and so fast and so well coached. Coach Holmes does a great job up that way. And then defensively, we couldn't. Only Ant was able to run on them, and he had about 60 yards rushing, but other than that, it depended on Cam throwing the ball, and then when they complete one, they're right there to tackle them. It was
you didn't get any yards after the catch.
No, we didn't get many yards after the catch, and so it was a long night, and I wouldn't say a disappointing night because anytime you make the quarterfinals, you got to be happy. That's 6 times out of the last 8 years that we've been in the quarterfinals, and last time we played Dublin, they beat us in 2019 in the semifinals, and that's the last time they had been as far as the quarterfinals until this year. So, great football team from Dublin, beat a good football team for Thomasville. I just wish our schedule had been more backloaded than it was top-loaded. We play all the tough games early, get them out of the way, and then you got the Bacons, the Brantleys, and the Berrians to come to town, and that doesn't give you a good look at what you got to do going down the stretch. And unfortunately, it'll be the same thing next year. But we lose 3 offensive linemen. We got our center and 2 guards coming back, so we got to replace the tackles. We got to replace the tight end, and we lose 1 running back. We lose Ant Anderson, who's probably he's got the most speed at 135 pounds. He's awesome at 135 pounds. He's got a lot of heart, and we're gonna miss him. But you still got quarterbacks coming back. We do not lose a receiver. Everybody will be back. Well, we lose Cy. That's the only receiver, and Rex Schofield. But Rex has only been with us 1 year. But Cy Wilson will be missed. But
secondary's loaded.
But we were in the final games. We were running with 2 sophomore wide receivers that would make because we lost Nigel Pittman to a knee injury. So had to get some depth in that area. And defensively, the secondary will be intact. We lose all our linebackers except for 1, so that they got to replace them. But
future's bright, I think.
Future's
that's
bright.
Kind of fun to say about all these programs.
Just gotta go to work and get it done.
It's one, football game. A lot of football games are won between now and August.
Yep.
So anyway, let's talk some more football games as we go down the playoff brackets. We're down to the Final Four. So just want to get your thoughts and just quick picks over who's gonna win these games. So we've got 6A. We've got Grayson at Douglas and Carleton at Buford. Carleton at Buford's going to be kind of the game of the week with just 5 loaded rosters on both of those. But all right, who's going to go victorious here? You guys, Michael, throw me some guesses here. Grayson at Douglas.
I'm taking Grayson and Carrollton to play
Okay.
for the championship.
All right, and you take Carrollton as a winner, or
Taking Carrollton winning it all.
all right? So Buford's won 2 in a row, or several in a row, right? At that 6A or at the highest level.
No, because last year it was Milton.
Yep.
that
Okay.
won
Milton
7A.
won it last year.
It's 7A.
Yeah, but
Okay,
Buford,
maybe it's
I
a
mean,
couple of
every one of these teams are blue bloods. I
Yeah.
mean, Douglas County is the only team that defeated Langston Hughes this year. They held them to 14 points, and they're a much more physical football team than most. I'm going Douglas County and Buford.
Okay.
I think that.
Yeah.
You don't think?
You don't think so?
No, why you had to pick what I was picking?
Nobody's giving any credit to Juju because
Yeah.
he's like,
It's just Juju. He's going to get against Buford.
And it is all about him. Now, I will say this: he's enough of an athlete to make some
He can
noise.
make it
now. He
happen,
can make it
yeah.
happen.
Those are, Juju is going to Colorado for those. Of you who
I'll
don't know.
take Douglas and Carrollton for the block,
For the win.
Alex. Just
No, I was going to block you. I was going to switch and go Grayson and Buford because I'm not going.
You can't.
I can't agree with Randy.
Okay,
Yeah.
can't do that.
Okay, all right.
Grayson and Buford.
Okay.
Yep. And again, those are two blue bloods, big
Yep.
time.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to 5A Coffee and versus Langston Hughes and Lee County versus Milton. All right. Who we got, Michael? Just real
I'm
quick.
going Langston Hughes against Milton and Milton
Milton
winning
for
it
the
all.
win. All right.
Yep,
That one.
Yep, I agree.
Same thing. All right. It's got to be different.
It's
You
got
think
to
Lee
be.
County
Well,
wins this
I
one?
was going to take Lee County, and I'm not so sure with Coffee running the ball like they do that they making shorten this ball game up a little
Keep
bit.
keep away?
Play keep away. That's what people like to do to us. But I'm going to take Lee over Milton. I think that
That's
quarterback.
really close.
I think that quarterback and Cromar will be probably be
Chroma.
whatever you call him.
Crowbar.
Crowbar, yeah, crowbar.
He is a crowbar when he
Yeah.
goes on the line.
I'm gonna say in
That's
the
great.
toss-up, I'm gonna take Coffee in a big upset.
Okay.
Well, and let's tip our cap to Tyrese Woodgett, the running back for Coffee County, 619 yards,
17.
617 on 20 carries.
A 31-yard average almost.
That's a good night. I mean, that's half a season for most really good running backs.
Yeah.
That's a new state record.
In our system, where you got 3 running backs, that's double what they
Yeah, I
gonna
know,
get
I know.
in one ball game.
And Coffee's really been lighting the scoreboard up here lately, but I agree. I think that Langston Hughes will have too much speed, and Lee County absolutely could beat Milton, but I'm going Langston and Milton,
That's
Okay.
good. I'm glad you went that.
just to make you feel better.
That makes me feel better.
All right, let's go. Let's go through these kind of quick. 4A, Creekside, Marist, and Blessed Trinity versus North Oconee.
I'm taking Creekside and North Oconee, and I'm taking Creekside to win.
Creekside to win. Randy.
Marist and Blessed Trinity, and Marist wins it.
Okay.
Marist and
Marist.
Blessed Trinity.
All right. All right.
Blessed
I'm
Trinity
sorry.
wins it.
Let Jim go first.
No,
I'll let you go first.
No, he's got to figure out what he can't
So
pick.
I guess I'm assuming that'd be an all Catholic school
Yep,
state
yep,
final right there. All right, 3A, Jefferson versus LaGrange and Calhoun versus Stevenson.
Ooh, I don't know. I think Jefferson versus Calhoun, and Jefferson wins.
All right, I'm going to go to you, Jim.
I'm going to go with a true blue blood. They probably get beat, but I think LaGrange is back. The Grangers are back, and I'm going to take Calhoun.
Okay.
And I think Calhoun wins.
Calhoun wins that one.
I hate saying this, but I'm going with Jim's.
I need something to drink.
Man, this is
And it can't just be water.
Christmas magic does happen, y'all.
He's
I'm
got some
telling you.
eggnog down there in that thing.
All right, 2A, Rockmart versus Burke and Appleton County versus Carver Columbus.
I'm going Burke and Carver Columbus, and Carver Columbus
Carver
wins
Columbus.
it all.
All right.
Tell me something. Where's the Carver Columbus game being played?
It's going to be
It's at Carver.
it's
That's
at
at
Carver.
Carver. You're not beating them there.
No.
And it's Carver's
Carver's to lose.
Yeah,
The way they
I'm going Carver.
beat Pierce, they'll take care of
Yeah,
that.
I'm going Carver, just flat out. Doesn't matter about the other side.
All right, Jim, I'm going to go with you first. So, Single A Division I, Northeast versus Fitzgerald and Toombs versus Dublin. You got to make a pick between Toombs versus Dublin here. Been talking about them all season. You're going to go with Toombs?
I'm going with Toombs in that one, and because of they got a lot of great. It should be a great ball game. If it wasn't so far, I would love to go to that one. But Northeast and Fitzgerald, that's a toss-up. Northeast is the only team that battled with Dublin. They got beat 17-7. That's the closest game Dublin's had. But I think Fitzgerald, because of their ability to throw the football, I think it'd be Fitzgerald versus Toombs, and Toombs will
Toombs
win the
wins
state
it.
championship.
I'm Fitzgerald and Toombs wins it all.
I'm going Fitzgerald and Dublin, and I think Dublin wins.
Dublin wins it. All right.
That The semifinal game between Toombs and Dublin is
Kinda
basically.
their
See,
de
everybody's
facto
been,
state
con-
championship.
probably state
everybody's been talking
yeah.
about that one as the possible state title winner. Okay, now single A Division II, so another South Georgia team, Irwin versus is it Bowdoin?
Bowden.
Bowden.
Irwin versus Bowden, and Brooks County versus Manchester. Are we going to
I'm
have a
taking-
South Georgia?
I'm taking Irwin against Brooks.
Yes.
And Irwin wins it all.
All right. Any South Georgia team?
I'm
rooting for
going
you.
Irwin and Brooks, but I think Brooks wins it.
Brooks wins it.
Brooks going to have a hard time with Manchester. They barely did beat Miller. I'm going to go Bowden and Manchester, and Bowden's going to win it.
Okay. All right. Well,
go.
that's right. Here we go. You know, if you guys are gamblers, you know
There
it's
you
going to be
go.
right. So
Ignore
you can
us,
put
please.
a lot of
if that's
money.
the case.
Just
Don't
take
put
the
any money
opposites.
on mine.
Take it.
Yeah.
I pick with heart.
It's obvious we don't know what we're talking about. I've mentioned
Clearly,
that before.
clearly.
Just take all your house money
Yeah.
and anything you were going to spend on Christmas presents and
Yeah.
put it on that. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
But not kidding around. Joining us for the college edition of the Press Box. And welcome back to the Press Box. We've got the college edition and a lot of fun to talk about. A lot of hypotheticals going to be going on here as the playoffs emerge. We will, of course, as we tape this, we will not know the final standing. So we're just doing our best guess, which is what the playoff committee's doing anyway. But as Georgia plays Texas, so we got two experts here for the SEC championship
That would be
game.
three with the Texas
Well,
guy down
yeah,
there now.
yeah.
I'm gonna say
Okay, I
now.
forgot about you.
Got
I'm
three
sorry,
SEC
Michael.
guys here now.
Three SEC people.
I'm not an SEC guy.
Hey,
I'm a Texas fan.
They're playing for the SEC championship. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Just say, well,
That's how they
we
pull
just
you-
visiting for a while.
That's how they pull you into the cold.
Now,
right?
if they win it, he'll be an SEC.
Yeah.
fan.
No,
That's
I'll never be an SEC fan.
Okay, okay.
But so this game is just an interesting game of like, to me, Georgia is going to have to play a bunch of games if they lose. So
Both will have to play.
I mean,
yeah.
so there's kind of a lot at stake, but you don't want to. Both of these teams, I think, are guaranteed in, win or lose. So there's just a lot of variables to this game that's just going to make it an interesting matchup. Like, I mean, Randy, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, here's the part that, and we knew there was a possibility of this, but I was reading some of the prognostications this past week that shows Georgia and Alabama, or Georgia and Texas playing this week for the SEC championship, and then playing each other again in the second round potentially. So 3 games between Texas
Yeah.
and Georgia.
Nobody wants to see that.
That's just not good. I mean, it's just not good for the sport. It's not good for either program. I think it's in Texas's behalf, though, Michael. I mean, it's hard to beat a good team twice. bottom
that's
line.
what
You
worries
say
me.
Texas is favored? Is that
They-
kind
and
of
they
what
should
be.
you would
They
say?
They
Now,
should be.
I don't know.
They're not as
if you would-
bipolar as Georgia is.
Well-
Yes, they are. They were bipolar tonight. Yeah, we played
That
y'all.
one day,
and,
but-
and had to come back.
We
We
got-
made it close at the end, but
We've had about
Yeah.
12 bipolar days, just saying.
That's right. Well, and also you've got a star wide receiver probably coming back from suspension. I forget his name. Is it Young?
Kobe
Kobe
Young.
Young, yep.
I don't know.
If you guys have him, who's a more consistent pass catcher, that he would be a big, huge.
Yeah, well, to
get.
me, the big news is that they're getting 2 of the running backs back, Branson Robinson and Roderick Robinson, who are the physical. Now, neither one of them are 100%. But right now, we're just having to ride Nate Frazier, the young freshman. Now, he's done a great job, but now that you can spread that load around a little bit, I think it'll be a big, big plus. And those guys are big enough, too, to help protect Carson Beck, which Nate Frazier really has not. He's not that big. I mean, he's about 185 pounds. But to me, getting those running backs back is a really, really big one. But again, to me, this is Texas's game to lose. I think the motivation for them at that second meeting is squarely in their hip pocket. You agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, they just like I said last week, I was worried about Georgia Tech because they had everything on their side, the motivation. I mean, they had a coach come in, his first press conference. He said, "We're working 365 days a year to beat our in-state rival."
Yep.
you want me to tell how well that works out? That's Ohio State's playing. We don't beat Michigan 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Well, I just know
we can talk
that
about
We
that
have
in
a
a
clock going down on
Texas
that one.
has a lot to prove, I think, because coming in, there was a lot of doubters that they could compete in the SEC, and here they are playing for the SEC championship. And I definitely think that they have the advantage in this game. And I don't know what Georgia team's going to show up.
That's it.
I fired a lot of them on I-75 coming home, and I had to call them back and tell them they're back in. But
Did you repent of your sins
yeah,
on
I
Sunday
did
morning?
Sunday.
Afterwards? There's a lot of stuff
Sunday,
said.
I just took the Lord's Supper. They weren't even giving it. I just went and got it. I mean, I had to get things right
After that game,
and you know, and then of course the Lord, you know, got me. I hit a deer, or a deer hit me, or something.
Well,
There you
You
go.
know,
That's
so
negative
I
vibes.
learned.
That negative
I'm trying to
energy.
learn my lesson as much as I can. Then my wife blames me like I ran the deer down. I told her, well, honey, it almost got to the woods before I got to it and ran it over. What do you think? But anyway, that's here to there. The fact Texas is going to be the opportunity. I think they're the favorite to win.
I think if Georgia can play well, I mean, again,
Just don't know
Texas.
which team's gonna show
Texas
up.
does. Did I have this right? They don't have a win over a ranked team so far this year. As it plays
They
out
hadn't
this
really
year.
played. Georgia's the only one they played.
I guess maybe now that they beat Texas A&M, that would be the
Right.
only ranked win. So I think it's going to be another close game. Just going to be I expect a weird game is what
Yeah.
I expect, because I don't know who's going to be fully motivated or
Yeah.
how, like the playoffs is
Both
making
te-
this game weird.
Both teams
Can lose.
Both teams had a stressful game.
Yes, that too.
Tech had a really stressful game. I don't know how much that took out of them. Texas had to go into Texas A&M, the biggest crowd ever in Texas at a college game, with all that noise. And I felt sorry. They kept showing one Texas guy. He had a hard hat on, and he was like this, and all the Texas A&M
Yeah,
people were
swaying,
swaying.
yeah.
I said, that ain't me, because that's why I'm not. I've had several Georgia people offer me tickets to go to. I said, I'm not sitting amongst Georgia people. I said, we wouldn't get along.
Well, I heard they're not selling water bottles at Mercedes-Benz this week.
Well, that's a
That's
plus.
true.
That's a plus,
That's
because we will throw them, you know.
Get a play turned over in a minute.
But
Georgia Tech should have been throwing those water bottles.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's
Anyway.
what they should have threw the water bottles on several calls.
Well, it takes them too long to calculate what angle to throw them
Yeah,
at. though, so
yeah,
that's a
those-
problem.
when
It just takes too long.
The key for Texas is Quinn Ewers. He came out, played well Saturday night in a hostile environment, and he's had
He's up and down.
he's had
too.
an ankle injury, but he made two big runs in that game that set him up for a couple of touchdowns. So he's helped. But then he turns around and throws a lazy pass out there, and they return it 96 yards for a touchdown. So you don't know, but they mixed Arch in there a little bit running the ball, and he's a threat. But Texas defense, to me, is one of the best in the country. So it's going to be tough, and the Georgia crowd ought not to affect them, because they were, like I say, they went to Texas A&M. But I still think Georgia's a favorite because it's in Georgia.
I would think Georgia would be the favorite, but it is going to be I expect a fun, weird game, and that's just as a college football fan, that's what I want to see. FSU finally had some good news, and that is that their 2024 season is over.
Amen.
So nobody is more excited than me. And then hired two new coordinators. Gus Malzahn was the UCF coach. By the way, he resigned, so he is not getting his $12 million. I think is what I heard from actually. So
Yeah,
he
they
actually
don't-
saved the school money. He didn't try to get himself fired and get the $12 million.
His forte is recruiting. He'll help them recruit.
Yeah, and
And
then
so will Tony White.
Yeah, Tony
from
White is-
Nebraska. He'll do a good job on the defense.
which I'm more excited about. Tony White led a very good defense. They're one of the few teams that put a stop to Colorado all season, and they run a 3-5-5 defense, and Florida State's going to be missing a lot of tackles, a lot of defensive tackles.
3-5-5. Did he say three?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
that-
Thomasville
That's
defense.
Thomasville defense.
You know, that's the Thomasville versus Cairo defense.
just
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, you can do that.
I've seen that defense
I'm
before.
not good
It's
at math,
hard
but-
to stop.
It's hard to stop.
It's hard
is.
to
That's
throw a
pretty
pass
impressive.
against.
Yeah, you can't hardly
You can't
throw.
pass on it.
Hard to defend it. You're
Yeah,
right. That's it.
yeah. So it's a very vaunted defense, but so really excited about those two hires.
Yeah,
But really
they're good
Tony
hires,
White,
some good hires.
really defensive coordinator hire. I think is the A+ hire of all DCs you could get. I think that would be one of the better ones you could get. So, quick thoughts on that before we get to yes no.
Is Norvell on the hot seat for next year?
I would say I wouldn't say on the hot seat. He can't have a 2-9 year, obviously. So if you're, the question would be, could he get away with a 6-6 year or something like that? To me, I think probably going to have to go over that. How about 7-5, something like that? So
Well, Michael, I
you
just
wanna
thought they
do
just
that?
picked the games they wanted to count and just don't
Yeah,
count
yeah,
the
It'd be
others.
nice.
That's one way
So
to
they
do
could
it.
do that.
Technically, they finished undefeated.
Just
they were
pick,
2-0.
just pick them.
Should be. It would be nice.
They were
It would be
undefeated,
nice.
2-0.
A lot of, as we said, a lot of hypotheticals. So let's do a lot of yes/no hypotheticals here. All right, a
Hypothetically,
lot
yes,
of
no.
hypothetically yes/no.
Oh, goodness.
Some of these aren't hypothetical. This first one is just not hypothetical. But here we go, Randy. You are here for the flag planting and all the ensuing drama. You're here for it.
No, I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of it.
No.
I'm not a fan, but the way you stop that is don't lose the game.
Well, I disagree with that. To me, like there's levels of disrespect, right? And once you go, like if you go past a level of disrespect, then the fighting's on and the pepper spray's on, and I'm here for it. I like it. Let's do more of it. What do you say?
As a Buckeye,
Yeah.
everybody wants to plant their flag
Yeah.
at the shoe. Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Baker
Oklahoma, Baker Mayfield started this.
this
He
stuff,
started
it.
and Ohio State never does their flag at anywhere when they win. But
Protect your
protect
house,
your place.
right?
But the thing I got, I mean, there was a fight, but I saw a picture off to the side. There were 7 Buckeyes and two.
Michigan,
Yeah.
I can't say the name.
Michigan guys.
Two of the
And
maize
they
and
were
blue.
bent down
Yeah, I saw that
praying
too.
while all that melee
Yep,
was going
yep,
on.
yep.
And you know, but I mean,
Ohio State had more players praying, so just want to point that out.
yeah. Well, they've had a major revival.
Yeah, I
But
remember
it's
that.
about 18 or 19 that have come to.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech did that because they were too
They were
tired.
tired.
They
They
couldn't,
were
they,
worn
they
out.
couldn't have planted a flag.
No, that's
right.
right. Couldn't even lift their arms up.
So to me, you shouldn't do it, but if you do, then the inevitable fight and
Yeah,
breakup's going to happen.
You're
so.
setting it
Both
up.
schools, Michigan and Ohio State got fined $100,000.
I saw that.
But that's nothing.
Yeah.
I just hope none of the Buckeyes get suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It
the
won't
only thing
affect
that's going to stop
Michigan.
that. All right, hypotheticals only matter if it helps the SEC, Michael. Hypotheticals only matter if it helps the SEC. What do you say?
Nobody helps the SEC. We are the black sheep of the family.
Oh, yeah.
We're the redheaded stepchild.
Excommunicated.
Excommunicated
Nobody
from
loves
the whole
the SEC.
college thing, and we have to. I mean,
You're not going to get anybody in the playoffs, are you?
look, is he okay? Did he stroke?
Because
Is he
Yeah,
all these lies.
Have a
of-
stroke
well,
here.
I mean, just
God's
go
going to
back and
send
look.
thunder down just to
Look,
strike
other
you.
teams lose to nobodies and they drop down 1 or 2. Georgia loses to a top-ranked school and they drop out of sight.
Yeah.
It's SEC bias.
I'm telling you.
Ohio
I'm
State
telling
lost to nobody, and they dropped way down.
They didn't, from 3 to 4?
They're 7 or 8.
Well, there you go.
But
They didn't make the teams
that's
like
gonna-
Georgia did.
If you want to, the hypothetical will be somehow they're getting Alabama in there.
Yeah,
They're
Alabama,
trying.
They're making.
They're
out
trying to
way
figure
for
out a
Alabama.
Hold
way.
on, it's coming.
By the way, I'd be more scared of South Carolina than Alabama.
Yeah,
by the
I
way.
would be
Kidding right
too.
now. You're right.
All right, well let's move on to the second one here. Third one. Listen, don't make me count, y'all. All right, Randy. If you give FSU 10 or more quarters against Florida, they would win.
Not this year.
I would say no.
No,
No.
No.
they need less quarters.
They need 20
If they'd
quarters.
had 10
maybe.
quarters against the team they beat, they might have lost.
Yeah.
Got a point.
All right. Hypothetically, FSU is the best 2-9 team you've ever seen.
That's kind of like saying you're the tallest midget in
You
bed.
give me that question. Jeez,
No.
no.
Everybody should say no. Just say that.
Except
Just
the
say
way
no.
they figure things, like I said, hypothetically they're 2-0 because they don't count losses.
I saw that. I saw that.
All right, hypothetically, Bama would beat Vandy, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. What do you say, Randy?
No.
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 So the reality, that matters now. Okay. All right. You say no? But they did. They would beat them, right? Hypothetically.
No?
Okay. Okay. All right. Just checking.
No.
Just checking. They said no.
But hypothetically, they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. Heather Dinich is going to find a way.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
SEC bias.
All right, here we go. Michael, hypothetically, the SEC champion would beat the Super Bowl winner.
What's this with this?
What is he? What's
Why is he
going
doing
on?
this?
I think there's some ACC bitterness coming out here,
It's
possibly.
always
No.
bitterness is always the
Some
answer. for me.
saltiness.
No, it's not going to happen.
You don't think they'll beat the hypothetically?
That's a no.
You think? No.
No,
Would
but
they beat your Green Bay Packers in the Super
Here
Bowl?
we go. Here
no,
we go.
this can't. I heard a coach from the Big 12 talking today, and Oregon's gonna win the Big 10 most likely. Texas can win the
Yeah.
SEC, And
SMU.
Arizona, some other school,
SMU could win the ACC.
right? And then there was another school that wasn't in the Pac-12 that's went in there, and they could win it.
So all the
Maryland or
transfers,
somebody?
No, not Maryland.
all the transfers,
All the
that were
transfers
schools
could win.
Could win.
Yeah,
So that,
Could.
except for Oklahoma,
hypothetically,
because that big SEC was ugly to Oklahoma.
yeah. Other than Bama, they were real nice to them. Well, that's it. Enjoy college football this weekend and some high school football if you can get there and watch it. And we will next week will be the last show of the year.